Anna Miller, the girl who'd been my shadow for the last 10 years, suddenly told me she was done with me. I laughed and asked if she was playing hard to get. She just shook her head, her eyes unervingly calm. Jake, I'm tired. I didn't think much of it at the time. Not until I found her journal, the one she'd forgotten to lock, and saw 10 years of my name filling its pages. The last entry was just one sentence. If I could go back 10 years, I would make sure we never lived next door to each other. When I swear I was just being clumsy, I shouldn't have knocked over that old locked wooden box on her desk when my mom asked me to take some strawberries over to Anna's place. The lock broke on impact. The lid popped open, revealing a thick journal inside, its cover worn soft at the edges. Somehow, I found myself crouching down to pick it up. The journal had fallen open on the floor. It was covered front to back in my name. Jake looked so good playing basketball today. Jake talked to Sarah from the sophomore class again. Not happy. Jake. My brain buzzed. It felt like I'd been struck by lightning. Anna Miller liked me? The girl who'd followed me around for more than a decade, bringing me coffee, helping with my homework, taking the fall for me? The girl who was always just there? The one I'd never really looked at? She had a secret crush on me. I stayed crouched on the floor, my fingers trembling slightly as I turned page after page. From middle school to high school, and now into college. Her handwriting evolved from a childish scrawl to neat cursive. Her mood shifted from giddy excitement to silence. It was like watching a silent, black and white movie of a decade I never knew existed. I finally reached the most recent entry. It was dated last week. There's only one line. The ink pressed so hard it grooved the paper. If I could go back 10 years, I would make sure we never lived next door to each other. My heart seized a sudden, painful clench. To the sound of a key in the lock, I scrambled, shoving the journal back into the box and kicking under the desk. I had just straightened up, pretending to be studying a movie poster on her wall when Anna walked in. She froze when she saw me. Her face was a blank mask. What are you doing here? My mom asked me to bring you some strawberries. I pointed to the bag of aggressively red fruit on her desk. My voice sounded raspy. Oh, thanks. She dropped her backpack, her tone as flat as if she were talking to a delivery guy. Before, she would have lit up, rushing over to ask about my day if I was tired. But now, she just walked around me and started tidying the clothes on her bed, not even bothering to give me a second glance. The change was jarring. It was like being used as sunshine and suddenly being thrown into a walk-in freezer. I couldn't take it. I thought about the text she'd sent a week ago, out of the blue, saying we shouldn't talk anymore. I'd been in the middle of a game with my teammates and had just replied with a... She never explained. I hadn't taken it seriously. I figured it was just one of her moods, or maybe what her mom called playing hard to get. Anna, I said. She didn't turn around, just kept folding a shirt. Yeah, that text from last week. About breaking things off. I licked my dry lips. Were you serious? She paused. Then she turned and looked at me. Her gaze was perfectly still, like the surface of a deep lake, without a single ripple. Jake, I'm tired. So rest. What's all this about breaking things off? I tried to lighten the weird tension with a joke. You've thrown fits before. You're always fine after a couple of days. She shook her head. This time is different. I'm just done trying to like you. She said it so quietly, but it hit me like a sledgehammer. The shock from the journal, now layered with her own words, left me completely stunned. You, like me. The words tumbled out before I could stop them, tinged with a sense of absurdity I hadn't even realized I felt. Anna suddenly smiled. It wasn't the shy, happy smile she used to give me. This one was tinged with mockery and exhaustion. Does it matter now? No, I was at a loss for words. My mind was a tangled mess. I wanted to ask her why she'd never told me. I wanted to ask how long she'd felt this way. Was it really 10 years, like the journal said? I wanted to ask why she'd suddenly stopped. What did I do wrong? The questions piled up in my throat, but I couldn't voice a single one, because I realized I probably didn't have the right to ask. She walked to her desk and saw the broken box. Her eyes instantly turned cold. Did you touch my things? My gut twisted. I knocked it over by accident. The lock is broken, she said, her voice laced with ice as she picked it up. I'll buy you a new one, I said quickly. Don't bother. She cut me off, shoving the box into the back of a drawer. I was going to throw everything in and out anyway. She was going to throw out That journal, filled with a decade of my life seen through her eyes. She would just untoss it. A nameless anger flared inside me. I couldn't tell if it was fury or something else. Anna, what the hell is your problem? I raised my voice. You like me. You don't like me. Are you messing with me? She looked up, meeting my eyes directly. Her gaze was terrifyingly calm. Jake, do you remember last Wednesday? My birthday. I froze. Last Wednesday. I think I forgot. I had team practice that day, then went out for drinks with the guys afterward. It had completely slipped my mind. You forgot, she finished for me, her tone flat. You didn't even send a happy birthday text. I called you, but you didn't answer. Then you sent a text. Said you were busy, you'd talk later. And then you never did. I opened my mouth to explain, but I had nothing to say. The practice was real. The drinking was real. Forgetting her birthday was even more real. That's it. I ran a hand through my hair in frustration. It's just a birthday. I can make it up to you, can't I? What do you want? I'll buy it for you right now. She looked at me, and the last flicker of light in her eyes died out. See, Jake? That's you. That's always you. You think you can just make up for everything. But some things, once you miss them, they're just missed. She picked up the bag of strawberries and pushed it back into my hands. Take these back. I don't really want them. And from now on, please stay out of my business. Close the door on your way out. With that, she turned her back on me and went back to packing a suitcase. Her silhouette was thin but radiated a sense of finality. I stood there, holding the heavy bag of strawberries. I couldn't go, but I couldn't stay. My chest felt tight, constricted. For the first time, I realized that this back, the one I'd been looking at my whole life, could feel so completely foreign. I think I really screwed something up, something important. I walk home in a daze, and as calm, empty eyes replaying in my head. And her words, I'm tired. I threw myself onto the couch and pulled out my phone, instinctively opening my message history with her. I scrolled up. It was mostly her. Jake, it's going to be cold tomorrow. Wear a jacket. Jake, I left a bagel for you on your desk. Jake, want to walk home together tonight? Jake, how do you do this problem? Attached was a blurry photo of a calculus textbook. My replies were always short. Okay, got it, busy, or I just didn't reply at all. I never thought anything of it. She wanted a text. I was too lazy to reply. It seemed normal. But now, staring at the screen full of green message bubbles from her, punctuated by my sparse, dismissive white ones, it stung my eyes. I tapped on her Instagram profile. A blank page. User not found. She blocked me. Or deleted me? My heart stuttered again. I opened Venmo and tried to send her $1. A notification popped up. This user cannot receive payments from you. She really deleted me. Damn it. A hot rage shot through me. I jumped up from the couch, ready to storm next door and demand an explanation. An explanation for what? I didn't know. I just felt this suffocating pressure in my chest. I pulled open my front door and saw her mom, Mrs. Miller, standing there, her hand raised to ring the doorbell. Jake, just the person I was looking for. She didn't look happy. Did you and Anna have a fight? I stood frozen in the doorway, embarrassed. You could say that. That girl. She came home and locked herself in her room, crying. Won't tell me what's wrong. Mrs. Miller sighed. You two grew up together. Can't you talk things out? Anna's always been so good to you. You should be the one to give in a little. She was crying? Anna was crying? The same Anna who had been so calm, so resolute in front of me, was hiding in her room, crying? The anger I felt was instantly replaced by something far more complicated. It was heavy and gritty like wet sand. Mrs. Miller, I didn't know what to say. Was I supposed to tell her that we were fighting because I forgot her daughter's birthday and she decided she was done liking me? The words wouldn't come out. It sounded so childish. All right. Well, it's normal for young people to argue. Mrs. Miller waved her hand dismissively. Listen, Anna is leaving for an internship in Chicago tomorrow. Her train is at 7 in the morning. Help me see her off, will you? She has a lot of luggage. It's a good chance for you to apologize, smooth things over. An internship? She never said anything to me. She just finalized it a few days ago. The school recommended it. A great opportunity. Mrs. Miller paused. She didn't tell you? I shook my head, my throat tight. She was leaving, and she wasn't even going to tell me. 5 the next morning. I was awake at 5:30. Or rather, I hadn't really slept at all. Every time I closed my eyes, all I saw was Anna's face and that journal. At 6, I found myself downstairs, leaning against the entrance of our apartment building. I lit a cigarette, took a few drags, and then angrily stubbed it out. At 6:20, Anna came down, dragging a large suitcase. She stopped short when she saw me. Then she immediately looked away, as if I wasn't there, and tried to pull her suitcase past me. "I'll take you," I said, blocking her path and reaching for her luggage. She sidestepped me. "No, thanks." Her voice was cold. "Your mom asked me to," I said, playing the mom card. "I'll tell my mom you did." She tried to walk around me again. The wheels of her suitcase rumbled on the pavement. I caught up and grabbed the handle. "Anna, do you have to be like this?" She stopped and turned to face me. In the faint morning light, her face was pale, with dark circles under her eyes. "Yes, Jake, I do." "What?" I said I do. She enunciated every word. "Right now, whenever I look at you, the last 10 years of my life feel like a joke." Her words were knife, quick and precise, straight to my heart. I took a deep breath. "Okay, fine. I was wrong. I forgot your birthday, and I was a jerk. I'm sorry, all right? It's not necessary." She tried to pull the suitcase away. I held on tight. "Then what do you want from me?" I was getting desperate. "You said you're done liking me. Fine, I get it. But we've known each other for over a decade. You're just trying to throw it all away? You won't even let me drive you to the station?" She looked at me, and a strange, pitying smile touched her lips. "You look pathetic right now, Jake. You're just not used to it. You're not used to your little shadow disappearing. You're not used to having your ever-reliable backup plan gone. You'll get used to it. It'll be fine." She gave a sharp tug and wrenched the suitcase from my grip. She turned and flagged down a taxi that was just pulling up. Her movements were sharp and efficient. I stood there, frozen like a statue, watching her get in and close the door. The car started, merged into the early morning traffic, and disappeared. She never even glanced back. The air was filled with the smell of exhaust fumes and her last words, echoing in my head. "You'll get used to it. It'll be fine." Would I? Really? 6, I stood there on the corner where the taxi's taillights had vanished for at least 10 minutes. My mind was a blank slate, except for that one sentence playing on a loop. "You'll get used to it. It'll be fine. Like hell I will." I kicked a nearby trash can. It clattered loudly in the quiet morning air. A window opened in the building across the street, and someone yelled, "What's your problem, psycho?" "It's 6 in the morning." I didn't answer. I just turned and walked home. My mom was setting out breakfast. "You're back already?" That was fast. I ignored her, went straight to my room, and slammed the door. "What's with you? Did you swallow a hornet?" My mom grumbled from the kitchen. I fell onto my bed, staring at the ceiling. The faint scent of Anna seemed to linger in the air. She'd been over last week to help my mom with something, and she'd sat at my desk. The light jasmine scent from her shampoo. Now it felt suffocating. I rolled over in frustration and grabbed my phone. My thumb automatically went to my contacts and found Anna. I was about to hit dial when I remembered. She deleted me. I messaged Venmo. She even unfriended me on whatever stupid game apps we were connected on. Unbelievable. She was thorough. I opened my chat with my best friend, Chris. "Where you at?" "Online. 5-man squad. Need one more." "Get on, loser," he replied instantly. Usually, I'd shoot back at daddy's here. But today, my fingers hovered over the screen. I typed, "Anna left." "Left for where?" "An internship. Chicago." "Oh, nice. Good for her. That means no one's breathing down your neck anymore. Drinks tonight to celebrate your freedom." Freedom? I stared at the word. It felt like a sick joke. That spot on my chest didn't feel free. It felt like it had caved in. It was hollow and achy. In the days that followed, I tried to fill that void. I spent all my time with Chris and the guys at the campus esports arena, playing until dawn. I skipped classes to sleep in my dorm. I even, for the first time ever, tried to read a textbook for one of my classes. Nothing worked. Everywhere I looked, there was a ghost of Anna. In the dining hall, seeing scrambled eggs reminded me of how she'd always give me her share. "You're a growing boy. Eat up," she'd say, sounding like a little old lady. Walking past the basketball court, I'd remember her sitting on the bleachers, holding my jacket and a water bottle, her eyes sparkling as she watched me play. At night, walking back to my dorm, I'd instinctively look up at the lamppost where she used to wait for me. The most ridiculous part was when I woke up starving in the middle of the night, and my first impulse was to text her to complain. The message failed to send, a red exclamation point appearing next to it. This person is not receiving messages from you. Damn it. I threw my phone to the foot of the bed and pulled a pillow over my head. Anna Miller, you're haunting me, aren't you? About a week later, a package arrived for me. It wasn't something I ordered. The recipient was me, but the sender was Anna. It was a small, light cardboard box. I tore it open. Inside were a few ticket stubs, movie tickets, an amusement park pass, and a train ticket to Chicago. All expired. Underneath the tickets was a simple, hand-braided red string bracelet. It was a little faded, but still intact. I'd bought it for her our sophomore year of high school from a street vendor for $10. I told her it was a good luck charm. She actually believed me and wore it for years, never even taking it off to shower. At the bottom of the box was a sticky note. Anna's neat handwriting read, "Jake, found these while cleaning. Figured I should return them to you. Take care." I stared at the pile of junk. The movie tickets were from a night I'd bailed on her to play video games with my friends. The amusement park pass was from the summer she'd begged me to go with her. I finally agreed, then overslept, making her wait for me in the sun for 2 hours. The train ticket was from last year's fall break. She wanted to go home and asked if I could help her book a ticket with mine. I'd replied, "Just go by yourself. I'm going hiking with some people." All this stuff I had completely forgotten. She had kept every single piece of it, and now she was sending it all back to me like she was throwing out the trash, including that stupid bracelet I'd conned her with, the one she treasured. Take care. To hell with take care. I grabbed the box, wanting to smash it against the wall, but my hand froze midair. In the end, I just shoved it into the bottom drawer of my desk. Out of sight, out of mind. Life went on, bland and tasteless. I tried to get used to a life without Anna. To get used to no one reminding me it would be cold tomorrow. To get used to remembering my own keys. To get used to ordering my own food when I was hungry. To get used to buying my own water after a game. It didn't seem like a big deal. The world kept spinning. I kept eating, until one day during a pickup game, we got into it with some guys from another department. Things got heated, and a guy with a buzz cut shoved me hard, muttering something under his breath. Normally, Chris would have been the first to jump in, but he'd been sick that day. My temper flared, and I grabbed the guy's collar. We were seconds away from a full-blown fight. A crowd had gathered to watch, but no one was stepping in. In that moment, I suddenly remembered a time in our senior year of high school. A similar fight on the court, and Anna, who was barely bigger than a basketball herself, had run out and stood in front of me, yelling at the older guys, "Don't you touch him." Her voice was shaking, but she stood her ground. They all laughed at her, calling her Jake's little wifey. She cried for days after that. At the time, I was embarrassed, thinking she was just making a scene. Now, there was no one to stand in front of me. It was just me. Eventually, a campus advisor showed up and dragged us all to his office for a lecture. It was nothing, and we all got off with a warning. But walking out of that office as the cool evening breeze hit me, I felt a profound sense of pointlessness. So what if I'd won the fight? So what if I'd lost? None of it seemed to matter anymore. Another 2 weeks passed. My mom called me, her voice frantic. "Jake, Mrs. Miller is in the hospital." My heart dropped. What happened? Acute appendicitis. She just got out of surgery. I can't get away from work. Can you go check on her for me? Anna's there all by herself. She must be exhausted. Anna was back. My pulse quickened. When did she get back? This morning. Poor kid. She must have been so scared. My mom sighed. "Go on, head over. City General, 7th floor. Bring some fruit." I hung up and stood there for a moment. Then I rushed to the bathroom and splashed cold water on my face. The guy in the mirror looked like a mess, his hair wild, his eyes lost. "I'm just going to see her, Mom. That's all." I told myself that over and over. I bought a fruit basket and a bouquet of flowers at the hospital gift shop. I lingered outside the elevator for a while before finally heading up to the 7th floor. I found a room number. The door was slightly ajar. Through the crack, I saw Mrs. Miller first, propped up against some pillows. She was pale, but looked okay. And then I saw Anna. Her back was to me. She was sitting by the bed, patiently helping her mom sip water from a cup with a straw. She looked even thinner than the last time I'd seen her, the bones in her shoulders sharp and prominent. She was wearing a simple gray sweater, her hair pulled back in a low ponytail, loose strands curling at her neck. Her profile looked weary, but her movements were gentle. I was about to knock when I heard Mrs. Miller speak. "Anna, sweetie, Thank you for coming back. I feel so bad. Did this mess up your internship? Anna shook her head, her voice soft. Mom, don't say that. I can always find another job. I only have one mom. Have you heard from Jake lately? Anna's hand paused for a fraction of a second. No. Oh, you too. Mrs. Miller sighed. That boy, he's just clueless. He's got a good heart, though. Mom. Anna cut her off. Her voice was still quiet, but it held an undeniable firmness. Let's not talk about him. Right now, I just want to take care of you, find a new job, and live my life. Nothing else matters. My hand, which had been resting on the doorknob, slowly pulled back. That phrase, nothing else matters, was like a bucket of ice water, extinguishing whatever faint, nameless hope had sparked within me. I stood there in the hallway, trapped. The fruit basket and flowers in my hands suddenly felt impossibly heavy. In the end, I didn't go in. I left the basket and flowers at the nurse's station and asked them to deliver them to the patient in room 709. I basically fled. I didn't feel like I could breathe properly until I was outside the hospital entrance, the cold wind hitting my face. My phone buzzed. It was Chris. Jake, board game night, we're one short. You in? There's girls. I stared at the message, motionless. All I could see was Anna's tired but determined profile. The way she said, nothing else matters. I slowly typed my reply. Can't. Something came up. I shoved my phone back in my pocket and started walking with no destination in mind. For the first time, the city I'd lived in for over 20 years felt unfamiliar. For the first time, I realized how empty, how unnervingly quiet life was without Anna by my side. I was supposed to be getting used to it, but it wasn't fine at all. It was worse. The night I ran from the hospital, I had a dream. I dreamed of the summer of our senior year. Anna was standing under the old oak tree by the school gate, waiting for me. The sun made her white dress glow. I rode up on my bike, slamming on the brakes at the last second, splashing puddle water all over her. She didn't get mad. She just smiled, her eyes crinkling, and handed me an ice-cold Coke. Jake, hurry up, we're going to be late. As I reached for it, the scene shattered. The tree withered, the dress faded, and the smile vanished from her face. She just stood there, looking at me quietly, and said, Jake, I'm tired. Then she turned and walked away. No matter how fast I ran, I couldn't catch her. I woke up with a jolt, drenched in sweat. The sky outside was still a murky gray. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel in my throat. I fumbled for my phone on the nightstand, the cold light illuminating my face. On a strange impulse, I opened the search bar. I typed in Chicago internship and added the name of her university. I knew it was pathetic, stalkerish, but I couldn't stop myself. 14 Chris said I'd been like a ghost lately, completely out of it. I'd zone out during basketball, choke on my food at dinner. Even my gaming skills, my one pride and joy, had gone to hell. Dude, something's wrong with you, he said, slinging an arm around my neck. Heartbroken. I push him off. Shut up. Don't even try to deny it. It's about Anna, isn't it? He clicked his tongue. You know, you're a real piece of work. When she was orbiting around you, you wouldn't give her the time of day. Now that she's gone, you look like you've lost your soul. I didn't argue, because he was right. Why don't you just apologize? Like for real this time, Chris suggested. I did. Didn't work? I mumbled, thinking of her expression at the train station. That was different. That was you just going through the motions. This time, you actually know you messed up, right? I was silent. Dude, girls are easy. Just buy her something nice. Say a few sweet things. Something nice? I thought about the pile of junk she'd returned to me, and that faded red bracelet. 15, I didn't expect to see her again so soon. It was at the convenience store at the end of our block. She was wearing baggy sweatpants and a t-shirt, her hair twisted up in a messy bun. She was standing in front of the produce section, choosing fruit. Her profile was calm under the fluorescent lights. My feet stopped moving. My heart skipped a beat. For a second, I thought I was hallucinating again. She must have felt my gaze because she looked up. The moment our eyes met, she flinched slightly. Then her expression smoothed over into that same polite, distant mask. She gave me a tiny, almost imperceptible nod, a silent acknowledgement, and went back to inspecting an apple. That feeling of being treated like a complete stranger hurt more than if she had yelled at me. I stood there, paralyzed, not knowing whether to approach or leave. Finally, I forced myself to walk over. How's How's your mom doing? She's better. Discharged and resting at home, she said without looking up. That's good. An awkward silence fell between us, filled only by the soft thud of apples being placed in a bag. I went to the hospital that day. I managed to choke out. I know. The nurse told me. Thanks for the fruit and flowers. Her tone was so polite, it was insulting. Anna, my voice was getting hoarse. Can we please just... No. She cut me off cleanly. She finally picked an apple and turned to me. Jake, my life is pretty peaceful right now. I don't want any more drama, especially not if it involves you. She took her apple to the register to pay. She left me standing there alone in the aisle, like a complete idiot. 16 after that night, something in me finally clicked. I deleted my games. I started going to class. I didn't understand most of it, but at least I was there. I even got a part-time job tutoring a middle schooler in math. Chris's jaw nearly hit the floor. Holy crap, Jake, what happened to you? Are you actually trying to be a decent human being now? I ignored him. I didn't know what I was doing either. Maybe I just didn't want to be the version of Jake that made Anna feel like her past was a joke. The semester flew by. After my last final, I walked out of the exam hall and let out a long breath. I felt like I'd shed my skin. My phone rang. It was my mom. Jake, you done with exams? Come home for dinner tonight. Mrs. Miller made your favorite barbecue ribs. She wanted to thank you for visiting her at the hospital. My heart jumped. Is she there? Who? Oh, Anna? Yes, she's here. Got back yesterday for summer break. 17, I stood at my own front door, feeling a rare wave of nervousness. I took a deep breath before pushing the door open. The smell of dinner filled the air. Mrs. Miller came out of the kitchen, wearing an apron and a warm smile. Jake's home. Go wash up, dinner's ready. My mom was setting the table. The dining room was bright and warm. Anna was already sitting at the table, looking down at her phone. She looked up when she heard me come in. Our eyes met. Her expression was a little softer than at the convenience store, but still distant. She gave me a slight nod. Dinner was strange. Our moms chatted away, mostly telling embarrassing stories about us as kids. Anna and I were both silent, focused on our food. What's gotten into you two? My mom finally asked, noticing the weird vibe. You used to never shut up when you were together. Now you're both acting like mutes. Mrs. Miller looked at us, her gaze curious. Anna put down her fork and wiped her mouth. Mom, Mrs. Anderson, I'm finished. You guys take your time. She stood up, took her plate to the kitchen, and then walked straight across the hall to her own apartment. The click of her door closing was soft, but it landed like a punch to my gut. Mrs. Miller sighed. That girl, she seems different since she came back. So quiet, like she's got a lot on her mind. My mom shot me a glare. Did you do something to upset Anna again? I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. The barbecue ribs on my plate suddenly tasted like ash. 18 summer break was officially underway. Anna seemed busy, leaving early and coming back late. I heard she was looking for a new internship. Even though we were neighbors, we barely saw each other. The few times we passed in the hallway, it was just a quick nod before we went our separate ways. In mid-July, my dad came back from a business trip with 2 tickets to a water park that he got from his company. My mom handed them to me. Take your sister out for a day. Have some fun. By sister, she meant Anna. She'd been calling her that since we were kids. I stared at the tickets for a long time. That evening, I heard the door across the hall open. I took a deep breath, yanked my own door open, and stepped out. Anna was coming back from taking out the trash. She jumped when she saw me blocking her doorway. Can I help you? I held out the tickets, trying to sound casual. Hey, my dad got these. Want to go? She didn't take them. She glanced at the tickets, then back at me. No, thanks. I'm busy tomorrow. What about the day after? Busy then, too. The day after that? Jake. She stopped me. I really don't have time. Besides, she paused. It's not really appropriate for the two of us to go to a place like that together. What's not appropriate? We used to go all the time when we were kids. That was when we were kids. She looked at me, her eyes clear and direct. We're not kids anymore, Jake. It's different now. She walked around me, unlocked her door, went inside, and closed it. It was all one smooth motion. I stood there in the empty hallway, clutching the 2 tickets, feeling like a clown who just performed his heart out to an empty theater. 19, the tickets expired. I never went. Chris and I went to the esports arena instead. We played all day. I lost nearly every match. Chris called me trash. I didn't even argue. One night in early August, the air was thick and heavy, threatening a thunderstorm. I got a frantic, tearful call from Mrs. Miller. "Jake, are you home? Anna went out for a walk, and she's not back yet. Her phone's going straight to voicemail. It's about to pour." My heart clenched. I shot up from my bed. "Don't worry, Mrs. Miller. Her phone probably died. I'll go look for her." I grabbed my keys and an umbrella and bolted out the door. The sky was black. The wind was howling, kicking up dust and leaves. I started running along the path she usually took for her walks, shouting her name. The park, the river walk, the little strip mall. No sign of her. Then the rain started. Big, heavy drops coming down fast. I opened the umbrella, but it was useless. My jeans were soaked in seconds. Finally, I found her on a deserted little street behind our old middle school. She was huddled under the awning of a closed newsstand, hugging her knees, curled into a tight ball. The dim streetlight cast a weak glow, and I could see her shoulders shaking. I ran over, holding the umbrella over her head. "Anna." She looked up. Her face was streaked with what could have been rain or tears. Her eyes were red. She seemed startled to see me, then immediately turned her head away. "What are you doing here? Your mom is worried sick. Why aren't you answering your phone?" She pulled out her phone and pressed the power button. The screen stayed black. "It's dead." Her voice was thick. Looking at her, soaked and miserable, I felt a surge of anger, anxiety, and a strange, aching tenderness. "It's pouring rain. You couldn't find somewhere better to wait out? What are you doing squatting here?" "I twisted my ankle," she mumbled, her voice laced with a childish vulnerability. I finally noticed she was clutching her right ankle. I knelt to take a look. She instinctively tried to pull her foot away. "Don't move." I held her ankle gently. I could feel it was already swelling through her sock. I looked up at her. Rain dripped from the ends of her hair. Her face was pale, her lips slightly blue. In that moment, all the stupid posturing, the distance, the not appropriate bullshit, it all vanished. There was only one thought in my head. I had to get her out of there. I pushed the umbrella into her hand. Then I turned my back to her and crouched down. "Get on." She didn't move. "Hurry up." I barked. "Do you want to freeze to death?" After a moment's hesitation, she slowly climbed onto my back. She was so light, much lighter than I'd imagined. Through our soaked clothes, I could feel her warmth and a slight tremor running through her body. I stood up, shifting her weight, then grabbed the umbrella and held it over both of us. We started for home. The rain was relentless, the wind trying to rip the umbrella from my hand. I angled it to shield her as much as possible, my own back quickly becoming drenched. The street was empty. The only sounds were the drumming of the rain and our breathing. She was quiet on my back. Her hair brushed against my neck. Then I felt something warm drip onto my collar. I couldn't tell if it was rain or her tears. "Jake," she said suddenly, her voice muffled against my shoulder. "Yeah, that bracelet. I didn't really want to give it back to you." My steps faltered. I was so hurt. I just felt like, for 10 years, it was all me. Like you never needed me at all. Her words hit me like a physical blow, leaving me aching and breathless. "I do," I heard myself say. My voice was low, almost lost in the storm, but clear. The body on my back went rigid. "I got used to you nagging me. I got used to you bringing me breakfast. I got used to you having water for me after a game. I got used to you just being there whenever I turned around. Since you left, my life has been a complete mess." The words I've been choking on for months came pouring out. "Anna, it's not that I didn't need you. It's that I was so damn used to you. I just assumed you'd always be there. I was wrong. I took everything you did for granted." She didn't say anything, but I felt her arms tighten around my neck. As we neared our building, the rain started to let up. I walked slowly, carrying her. Neither of us spoke. The air smelled of wet earth and the faint, rain-washed jasmine scent of her hair. "Jake," she said again. "What now?" "You're going the wrong way. My apartment is that way." "Not the wrong way," I said. "We're going to my place first. I'll take care of your ankle. If your mom sees you like this, she'll have a heart attack." She just said, "Oh," and fell silent. And I think she rested her head gently against my back. When we got to my apartment, we were both soaked to the bone. My mom gasped when she saw us, then immediately sprang into action, grabbing dry towels and a change of clothes for Anna. I set Anna down on a chair in my room and went to find the first aid kit. My mom followed me in, glanced at Anna's swollen ankle, then at me. Her expression was complicated, but she didn't ask questions. She just said, "Put a cold compress on that. I'll go make some ginger tea." I knelt in front of Anna, wrapping an ice pack in a towel and carefully placing it on her ankle. She flinched. "Hang in there," I said, my touch becoming even gentler. The room was quiet, filled only by the sound of our breathing. She was swimming in my oversized t-shirt and shorts, looking like a kid playing dress-up. Her hair was still damp, plastered to her head. Her face was pale, but her eyes were bright, and she was watching me intently. "What are you looking at?" I grumbled, feeling my ears get hot. "Jake," she said softly, "what you said before. Did you mean it?" I knew what she was asking. I kept my eyes on her ankle and just nodded. "Yeah, I meant it." She was quiet for a long moment. Then I heard her whisper, "I'll trust you. One more time." My head snapped up. She was looking at me, her eyes shimmering, but the corners of her mouth were turned up in a small, hesitant smile. It was faint, but it was real. It was like the sky, after weeks of rain, had finally cracked open to let the sun through. Looking at that smile, the hollow space in my chest that had been aching for months suddenly felt full. It was a warm, expansive feeling. I couldn't help but smile back. "You're an idiot." 22 that night, after icing her ankle and making her drink the ginger tea, I walked Anna back across the hall. Mrs. Miller was a whirlwind of thanks and relief. The next morning, I knocked on their door. Anna answered, still limping slightly, holding onto the doorframe for support. She looked surprised to see me. "It's early." I brought my hands out from behind my back. In them was a small, new jewelry box. "For you." She took it and opened it. Inside was a delicate silver chain with a tiny crescent moon charm. "What's this?" "I owe you," I said, scratching the back of my neck. "A birthday present. I know it's really late." She stared at the necklace, saying nothing. I started to get nervous. "You don't like it?" I can take it back." "I love it," she said, looking up, her eyes shining. "Can you put it on for me?" I froze for a second, then clumsily took the necklace and moved behind her. My fingers brushed against the skin on the back of her neck. It was cool to the touch. I could smell my own shampoo in her hair. I fastened the clasp. She turned around, touching the small moon charm at her throat, a real smile spreading across her face. "How does it look?" "Perfect," I said, "prettier than the actual moon." "Jake." "Yeah. I'm hungry. What do you want?" "Those bagels from the place you used to get for me." "Wait here. I will get them." I turned and ran down the stairs, my steps so light I felt like I could fly. The summer morning air was cool and fresh against my face.